And welcome to the Broome Coach's Corner Show. We're joined by Broome head football coach Fleming. Well, Coach, good win Friday night over Carolina. You got a chance to get your players some work in that they needed, having a week off, and then get them out of the game where they would be rested and fresh for this week.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a big thing is just making sure that we're healthy this time of year, and and knock on wood, we're pretty healthy. So that was kind of the goal, just to make sure we got in and get plenty of reps, stay in shape and prepare ourselves for this week and the next several weeks.
You had some good performances. Your defense played well again, and they played well all year, but I believe created 4 turnovers for you this past Friday night.
They did. They've done a tremendous job, all year long. So it's always exciting to watch those guys. They just fly around the football. They just have a lot of fun when they play, and that's what it's all about.
Was glad to see too that I've been waiting for this kind of all year, that DT Thompson just physically got out there and dominated the game Friday night. I was kidding with people on our broadcast saying that he knew he was running out of games to get the pizza and buffet, and so he had to get up there though. But I think it's only fitting that he was selected for the North-South to go out there and solidify and to show people why he's going to be playing in that All-Star game.
Yeah, absolutely. He's kind of the role that I won't say gets overlooked, but kind of goes unnoticed, I guess, if you will, just because a lot of people are going to focus on him. He's going to be the guy that's going to take the double teams. He's going to be the guy that's going to take on blocks that allows other people, especially second level guys, to make plays. And a lot of people, and that's why he's going to be in this All-Star game, because when people are scheming on Sundays and looking at film, they're trying to figure out a way to block him and make sure they got 2 hats on him, and he's pretty much had to battle that all year long. Not to mention, if we put him one side or the other, they're gonna run away from him. So he's done a great job, and he's really embraced that role, and and understanding. Sometimes it's hard for guys to understand why they're not making plays. Well, it's he's taking on the brunt of it, so his teammates can make plays, and that's just what kind of player he is, and what people game plan around him.
On the offensive side of the ball, your offensive players, Sugar and Spice, did not get a whole lot of carries in that game because they were putting scores up, but the offensive player of the week was Jalen McGill, that he had 12 carries for well over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Kamaje didn't get a whole lot of carries, but he had a handful of carries, still had 75 yards, and passing 6 out of 9, again, very accurate passing, but they led a very good offensive attack for you also.
Well, yeah, and then, the thing is, we just want to be sound. We want to be, we want to stay, consistent, if you will, and these guys have done a good job. Did a great job handling the bye week. Did a great job going into this game for preparation. We just wanted to be consistent going into this game, and it's just kind of what they've done all year. So I wouldn't expect anything different from them.
You go on the road for tonight's ball game, and this team seems to have, had the one blemish on the record was Spartanburg, but they played extremely well over there. But this team seems to have handled traveling pretty good and been some pretty good road team for you this year.
Yeah, they have. We played well on the road, and I don't think tonight's going to be any different. I think our guys are going to be excited about this opportunity. I think they're they had a chance to play in this game last year and see what it was all about. So I think they're excited for this opportunity. And this is going to only prepare us for for the next several weeks.
This is a big game. It's for the conference championships. I know this is a game, talking with the players, that has been marked for a very long time on their calendar book, though, that they were not pleased with what happened last year. And I think they've got something to prove over. They like to spoil their senior night this year, though. But do you ever worry about maybe being too hyped for the game?
You know, sometimes you do. You know, a lot of times it depends on you guys. But I've been real pleased with how our guys have handled it and how they've handled it all year. It doesn't seem to matter who we play. They just worry about the next game. And, you know, I think the biggest thing that disappointed them last year was not the fact that we got beat. It was just the fact we just didn't play well, you know, and I think that's what disappointed our guys more than anything. So, you know, I feel like we want to come out, and I think our guys just want to go out and compete, want to play well, and you know, and it's going to be a really good football game. You know, it's going to be a 4-quarter football game, and you know, and neither team have really played 4 quarters, you know, in quite some time. So, you know, it could come down to possibly that as well. You know, who's in better shape, who's hydrating, who's taking care of themselves, and you know, so I think that's the taste our guys want to get out of their mouth. It's just not playing well last year against them.
And last year's game, you mentioned that too, was very disappointing in that the Centurions, I think, are in the first half, had about everything that could go wrong, did go wrong. Chapman got off to a hot start, and immediately it kind of puts you on your heels of having to play catch up and maybe do some things that you had not planned in the original game plan going in.
That's right. Yeah, and you know Chapman, you know, like last year, those guys gonna play with a lot of confidence, and you know they gonna do what they do, and they play fast, and you know it's gonna be a physical football game, and you know we just have to play the same way, you know, and like I said, I don't doubt these guys will do that because they've done it all year long.
Start with breaking down Chapman a little bit, though, with their skilled players. I know they've got a pretty big quarterback. I think he was selected, if I'm right, to play in the North-South All-Star game. And, you know, running back receivers, what have you seen on film for those guys?
Yeah, it's just a solid group. You know, they have Six, who's out there, who's a long body, who they like to get the football to. They do a good job of getting in his hands, whether it be throwing it to him down the field, on screens, handing it to him on reverses, jet sweeps. You know, they do a good job of getting the ball in his hands. You know, they're the other receivers they have out there are very solid players, and very, very capable, do a great job of catching the football and running good routes. And you know, the running back number 3 he's a hard runner. You know, he does a good job of being patient, finding the seams, and of course, you know, when everything it boils down to, you know, they want the ball in 5's hands, or quarterback. You know, he's a tough football player. You know, he's a leader of their team, and you know, they kind of go as he goes. You know, so when it's crunch time, you know, the ball's going to be in his hands.
Okay. Up front, what have you seen with their offensive line? Are they pretty big, or what do you see out of them?
Yeah, I mean, they're a big group. You know, they returned a lot of guys on offense. You know, they're putting up a lot of points, and you know, they're very sound up front with their blocking schemes, and they're just very familiar with it because, like I said, these guys have been playing in their system for a long time, and you know, so it's you know, they're very, very, very sound in what they do offensively, and you know, it's going to be us. It's not a deal whether they're going to come and play. It's a deal whether we're going to stop them.
Okay. Let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball right there too, and looking, you know, at their scores. They have not given up a whole lot of points, although, you know, Woodruff seemed to have had some success early against them, and there's been a few teams that have scored some points on them.
Well, they're a pressure team. You know, they're 3-5, and you know, their whole design defensively is to create confusion up front. You know, and they've done a good job of that. You know, they'll line guys up in a lot of places. They'll bring pressure from a lot of places. You know, and they want to create negative yardage plays. You know, to put guys behind the sticks, and they've done that. You know, for us up front, we just, you know, we talked about it all week. Guys got to be up. We got to be able to communicate. We got to see linebackers. You know, it's going to be us up front. You know, being able to figure out what they're doing, and being able to see it, and being able to communicate. You know, but they do a good job defensively, like I said, of putting teams behind the sticks and putting them in situations they're just not comfortable being in, and you know, and they make it tough. They make it tough for an offense.
Well, they last year seemed to do a good job early in the game of taking you out of the game.
They did. You know, they did. You know, we had some run throughs that created again, some negative yardage plays just put us in situations that, we didn't need to be in.
Game like this, big thing may come down to the third phase of the game, special teams. What have you seen? I know your special teams have been solid all year, both punting, kickoffs, field goals, extra points, and also what have you seen from them?
A lot of the same. Kickoff wise, they got a young man that can kick it about anywhere he wants to. He's not going to kick it towards the goal line. He's going. They're going to pooch it. And I remember last year, first time they kicked it off, they kind of pooched it right over our front line and recovered it. For their second possession. So he does a good job of placing the football, and we just have to be prepared when we're on kickoff return to make sure that we can handle that. But they have return guys that are good players. They're just again just solid in the kicking game. One of the big things that may come down to is they run a lot of their extra point. They'll run a lot of plays out of water bucket, different formations down there to try to get an extra point on the board. And so our guys, we worked hard all week on being able to line up to that and take away and defend what we've seen them do and what we figure they're probably going to do. So that's the biggest thing for us there is just make sure we're lined up.
All right, keys. What's your keys for winning the region championship tonight?
Well, one, like we always talk about, we have to be the most physical team on the field. From the opening kickoff, we have to dominate physically on both sides of the ball. The second thing is we just have to, we can't beat us. We have to be smart with what we do. Like I said, communication up front, can't lead to any negative yardage plays. We can't have any mistakes, penalty wise. We just don't need to beat us. Those are the two things, kind of our goals going into the game, being the most physical team, and don't beat us. That's what we preach to our guys. So I think those are huge keys for tonight's game as far as who's going to come out on top.
Well, people have been waiting for this one all year. I know that y'all probably, as a coaching staff, looking forward to playing, being back in the championship game again and playing that. I know the fans are, so pretty much fans, ready or not, here come the Centurions. It should be a good one tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, great atmosphere.
Looking forward to talking to you after the game.
Great, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.